All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome in to Tap Into Your G Zoom call. I'm Jalita Mims, and I'm the founder of Raise Your Energy. Each week, we explore practical mindset tools through gratitude, emotion, and elevation, which helps us create with more intention. So, wherever you're joining from, thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you're here. Now, if y'all ready, let's tap into your G. So I like to start with a quick recap. So we've been learning about gratitude, emotion, and elevation over the past few weeks, right? So gratitude taught us to notice what's true. Emotion taught us to understand what's true. Elevation taught us to honor what's true. And then last week we talked about alignment, and the idea that real clarity comes when your thoughts, words, and decisions and the actions, they all align and they move in the same direction, right? So some of y'all were here while we talked about that last week. Some people joining for the first time. Either way, I feel like you're in the right place, because tonight we're going to talk about what happens after the clarity. What happens when you know what you want, even when it feels right, and you still don't do it? That's resistance, right? So that's what we'll be talking about this evening, is resistance. And this is a topic that's actually personal for me too. I've been on this fitness journey, and I'm gonna use journey very loosely, lightly, in quotes, in dry erase, all of that. And the resistance is a constant thing that I deal with, right? Some mornings I wake up, every morning I wake up, I know exactly what I should be doing, and I still find a reason to skip it. I'm too tired, I'm too busy. Well, let's just wait till Monday. Like Chick-fil-A put some points in my app and I could get a free delivery today, right? But I realized that resistance isn't necessarily a sign that I don't want to do it. Sometimes it means the opposite, right? Resistance often shows up the strongest around those things that matter to us the most, not the things that you don't care about, right? It's the things that you really have feelings for, the things that really matter, right? Because knowing isn't the hard part. Feeling aligned is not even the hard part. The consistency, that's where we get stuck. That's where I get stuck, right? That's that resistance. So just think about resistance. Do you resist scrolling on your phone? Is there any resistance whatsoever when you pick up your phone? Right? You don't need a vision board, accountability partner, 3 affirmations, and a journal checklist in order to check a text on your phone, right? But that workout that you know could change how you feel and change how you look, the apology that you owe somebody, the boundary that you haven't set yet, the book that you've been almost ready to write for 3 years, those are the things that we resist, right? So here's a question worth sitting with. How do you know if it's actually resistance or if it's not just bad timing or exhaustion, or maybe you're overwhelmed or you're just not interested in that thing? So if it's bad timing, think about it. You usually can choose a better time and come back and do it later. If it's the rest will rejuvenate you, right? And you'll come back with more energy to do the thing. And if you're not interested, then usually you don't want to do it anymore. The desire just fades away. But resistance, it'll keep creating new reasons. Today it's that you're too tired. Tomorrow you're going to be too busy. Next week you're going to have a better plan. The excuses may change, but the thing that keeps tugging at you is still there. You keep thinking about it. Even when you try, you really can't even ignore it, right? So that's not indifference when you can't ignore it, when it keeps coming back. Indifference leaves quietly, but resistance will keep knocking. It keeps knocking. It's not going to stop knocking. So what is that thing? That's what we want to talk about. What is that thing right now in your life that keeps knocking? Right? What's that thing that you keep thinking about, talking about, promising yourself, telling all your friends, but you still haven't done it? Right? And you don't have to tell us the story, but if you can just think about that knocking, that thing that's just going to keep nagging you, because for me, it's, changing my habits as far as the eating, the working out, the lack of working out, what I'm eating, what I'm not eating, you know. Can anybody else right now think of the thing that's knocking that you keep making excuses not to do? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Miss Vanessa.
For me, it's time management.
Mm,
Um, because I keep trying to find balance, but there's no balance in life, right? So for me, it's just time management as to how to fit all those things into the 24-hour period, even though I know that I gain more time if I get up earlier. And I
Mm,
do, but I can't quite get it together. For this season, in this season, it seems like I'm stuck.
yeah, I understand.
So that's exactly where I'm at. Stuck for me, it's time management, trying to, figure this thing out. How do I fit everything, as the mother, as an entrepreneur, as a working person, grandma, right? How do I fit all this? Because your
Absolutely.
is constantly evolving around us. So how when it shifts and it changes, how do I for me, how do I fit all that in? So
Make
that's
room.
my biggest resistance, if you will call that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something knocking. You have so many different things that are competing for your time, right? So it's showing up. Maybe the resistance is that it's like, oh, other people need me. Oh, I got, my family comes first. Oh, wait, but this business over here. Or, oh, wait, the neighbor, you know, I don't know what the thing is, but it's good to identify, right? Like there's something though that you identified as the resistance, the time management, right? You don't have enough hours in your day. So that's a problem I think I have too. I'm learning, it's about prioritization too, but we make sometimes everything's the priority. Like, oh no, my grandbaby is just important as this thing. Anybody else want to share? Thank you for sharing that. A thing that's knocking, that resistance is knocking for them. Don't worry, we still got some time. Go ahead, Lee. I see you came off mute.
Yeah, with me, it's more so just by trusting people. So that's been knocking hard, relying on people. And I've been resisting that because I'm not used to having to rely. But, you know, it's an experience.
For sure. That's a good one too. Go ahead, Devontae.
Coming up with a budget and not spending unnecessary money. Like,
Mm,
I just that's what I wrote about in my little, not my little, but in my journal today. Like, my relationship with money is not good, and I know I need to fix it, but it's just like, well, I mean, I like spending money. Money makes me happy.
I think we probably all have that in common. All right. So the money, the time, Ivory, go ahead.
So I took 3 levels of sign language and I just won't practice on my own. It's
Mm,
terrible because that's money that was spent and it's nice. You don't even realize how many people communicate using American Sign Language. Once you taken a class or know a little bit about it, you kind of could pick up on it. Like, wow, they doing sign language. You know what I'm saying? Just
mm,
passing. And they say it's the third most used language in the United States. And
wow.
yeah, that's a lot of signing that
Yeah.
that you could benefit from or even help somebody else with. But I've taken 3 levels. It started off with my son taking the class. So I took the class so that I would be able to communicate with him and also not have to ask somebody what he's saying, what
Oh,
he's
yeah,
saying,
for sure.
or them communicating with him and I not have a clue what they saying to him.
Hmm.
But I haven't practiced. I didn't go to level 4 because why do 4 if you don't have 1 through 3 together, right? And you steady spending money. And I recently saw these two guys. signing with each other, and y'all, I ain't know nothing they was saying.
They was
Nothing.
probably talking about you, Ivory.
Well,
See?
they probably was talk about me after I told them I took some classes and I couldn't understand nothing.
Yeah, they definitely was talking about you after that. That's
But
a
no,
good one.
they told me to just keep practicing. I'll get it, you know. But yeah, so yeah.
Okay, good. Good, good. Thank y'all for sharing those. Um, so I'm sorry, somebody, okay. So, um, so everybody had a different answer, right, about the resistance that they have, right? So everybody's resistance is going to look different based on whatever the thing is that they're being called to do. Sometimes we don't even recognize this resistance because resistance knows how to disguise itself, right? So it doesn't always look the way you might expect it to. So sometimes it might look like over preparing for something, like read one more book, or like Ivory said, take level 4. Now I've done the first 3. Let me just go all the way to level 8, you know? So watching one more video, you know, building the perfect plan instead of taking the imperfect action. Because at some point now your plan have a plan with another plan, and the notes have notes on top of the notes, and the plan got notes to go with the plan, and you still haven't started anything, you know? Sometimes resistance just looks like busyness. You fill your calendar with everything except for that one thing that actually matters. You answer all the emails, you cleaning stuff that don't even need to be cleaned, that you ain't even notice it. And now all of a sudden it's another excuse. You'll handle everybody else's emergency. And then at the end of the day, you can honestly say, I was busy, which you were. You were busy. But were you busy doing that thing that you said mattered? Because sometimes resistance looks like numbing, scrolling, snacking, watching another episode, another season, scrolling some more, snacking some more, right? Anything that helps you avoid sitting with the discomfort of what you know you need to do. And sometimes, ironically, resistance looks like helping everybody else first. You solving everybody else's problems, you supporting their goals, showing up for their needs. And then guess what? Conveniently, there's no time or energy or attention left for your thing. Then you might even blame them, like, well, for them, I did all their stuff. I can't do my own stuff. It has different disguises, but it's the same resistance underneath, right? Something else I've noticed is that we usually assume the resistance is about the fear of failure. Sometimes it is, right? What if it doesn't work? What if I'm embarrassed? What if I give everything I got and it still doesn't turn out the way that I wanted it to? So, what disguise does your resistance usually wear? Is it preparation? Like maybe Ivory was saying, she needs to be more prepared to do sign language. That could be a disguise. Busyness, distraction, you know. Oh, it's too much stuff, like Miss Vanessa was saying, like I got so much stuff on my calendar, but is it a distraction from the thing that you are being, you know, resistant to? Um, is it waiting for the perfect time, you know, or when the kids graduate, or when I finish this thing, or after I hit the 5-year mark, or when I get this certain age? Or are you convincing yourself that you need one more sign before you can begin? Anybody have any example of what resistance might be looking like as it's showing up in your life? I know that some of you shared the thing that you know you need to do that's having some resistance. But what's the resistance looking like? Is it excuses, you know? Because resistance can change its outfit. But if it keeps preventing you from doing the thing that you says matter, it's still considered resistance, right? So I want to share. Oh, somebody go ahead, Ivory.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. I see both of y'all had unmuted. Go ahead. I want
I
to.
don't know if you wanted us to actually answer what resistance look like, or
Oh,
you
yeah. You
not.
can give me an example, please, of what your resistance looks like to you. What do you think?
So for working out, that was my other thing. Working out is I'm tired in the morning. I could start tomorrow. And if I get up early to work out, then I'm not going to be able to have the energy I need to work the overtime in the evening.
Oh, you got a lot of good ones.
Yeah,
Those are good ones.
that's why
Okay.
that's why I ain't start working out.
Okay. Miss Vanessa, did you want to add something? I saw you had unmuted for a second.
Yeah, so I was going to say procrastination and because I know the thing that I need to do is just procrastinating in doing the thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though I have so many things going on. I know you mentioned and part of it could be the fear of failure,
Mm.
right? Because I know what I have to do, but putting it off and not actually prioritizing and I and
Mm.
I and I now that you mentioned fear of failure, I kind of did a mental gut check and I think that's just what it is. It's
Mm.
just a fear of failing at that thing that I know I need to do in order to succeed.
That's a big one. That's one of the biggest ones, I think, the fear. It could also be fear of success too, you know? Anybody else want to share what the resistance might be disguised as for them or what you might identify it as?
I guess mine would just be an excuse of just not wanting to do it. Like, as far as I'm gonna use editing for an example, like I say, well, I'm gonna edit this video today, and then I call everybody and their mama before I start editing this video, and I'm like, well, I don't even feel like editing it now. I guess I can just go home. I just do it tomorrow. So I guess when I really don't want to do certain things, it's just that I have to do. It's just like I basically just fill the time up with things that I should even they don't even matter in the moment.
Yeah, that's understandable. Resistance, it's just such an ugly little monster. You know what I mean? Because most of the time we know exactly what it is that we need to do. Like, you don't, you just like, oh, well, like you said, Devontae, like, oh, I need to edit this thing, but let me call all these people. Now you like, well, they done drained me, child. I don't got the energy. Now, if it wasn't for them, I could have had my thing edited. Now they got all these problems. It's messing with my energy. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to share a little story. You know, I like to try and tell my business a little bit on these Zoom calls. So we talked about me getting into my fitness journey. So probably about a month ago now, I went to the farmers market. It was beautiful. The Cab Farmers Market is big and beautiful for anybody who hasn't been. And I was just like in such awe. Spent over $100, right? Cause that was it. I was getting back into my fitness journey. I had the plans. Man, I had some kale, sweet potatoes. I had plans. I had meal prep in my mind. You know, I'm eating better. I'm about to start working out. I made the decision, right? But I went out of town a few days after I went to the market. So that already gave me like, 5 days of worth of more excuses, right? So I get back. I'm like, that's it. I'm starting today. But of course I didn't, right? Y'all heard me talk about them weights that I bought a few months ago. I was supposed to be working on my bus driver arms. Do y'all know I lifted them weights the other day to move them out the way so somebody could put a TV on the wall, right? And they couldn't even put the TV on the wall. So basically, I moved the weights for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So they just sitting there collecting dust, and I keep saying tomorrow. Monday. I'm gonna eat one more spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, and then I promise tomorrow. The other day, y'all, I sat in the bathtub for a whole hour watching a TikTok live of a fitness coach telling me all the things he already told me so many times, things I already knew, things I still haven't done. I even paid this man to subscribe to his damn program. I got a guidebook, I get emails, text messages. I have the plan, the tools, and the information. Then today I'm on YouTube watching a tarot reading. Do you know this heifer told me I need to start exercising so I could start manifesting more easily? How you telling me? You know what I'm saying? Because moving my body apparently raises my vibration and it increases the magnetation of manifestation. So I got the TikTok coach telling me, my body telling me, my clothes telling me, the tarot cards telling me, the universe telling me, and I'm still not doing it. And the other thing is, I'm going to Cancun Labor Day weekend. I was supposed to be getting snatched, okay? I was supposed to be getting snatched, and I'm over here resisting. I'm making excuses. I'm working too much. I'm staying up too late. Kind of like what Ivory was saying. Oh no, then I'm be tired. I can't do all of that. I'm not going to bed early enough. I gotta do all of this blah 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 blah. Some days I barely eat anything at all. Other days it's spicy chicken sandwich from the app. You know what I'm saying? So after spending over $100 at the farmer's market, buying the weights, paying for the fitness program, watching the TikTok coach, and receiving the confirmation from them tarot cards, it's just like, what are you doing? Why are you now standing on your porch saying, thank you, have a good night to a complete stranger who just delivered the food? Meanwhile, the kale and the sweet potatoes is in the refrigerator fighting for their life. You know what I'm saying? It's just resistance. I bought the food, I bought the weights, I bought the program, I got the information. I know what to do. I won a Biggest Loser contest at work. Yes, thank you, Shamika. Is she just signed up to be my accountability workout partner? So then you can yell at me and text me like, why are you on DoorDash? Like, hold on, let me call you right back. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely need some accountability. It's just like it's something I just need to be real honest about, right? Because I know if I stop resisting, I'm gonna feel better, right? I'm gonna be proud of myself. I'm gonna have more energy. I'm gonna be more conscious about how I'm treating myself, right? More loving, honoring who I am. So why do I keep resisting the one thing that I know is gonna help me, right? Can anybody else relate? Like, have you ever bought the equipment, downloaded the guide, watched the video, prepared the food, did all of that stuff, the planning, the planning, the planning, and you still didn't do the thing?
I
You still didn't do the thing. Go ahead.
ability, just comfortable,
Mm,
willing to work at it's outside of your comfort zone.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely. But there's been times for me in this example, I've been in my comfort zone because I'll go on these wild, like, oh, I'm workout fanatic. I'm in the gym, I'm exercising, I'm losing weight. But then other times I'll just be like, who cares? Let's just go back to the plus size, get some elastic waistbands and feel good. This one lady I know, this girl down in Atlanta, she was like, I gained a lot of weight when I moved to Atlanta, but I realized they like fat girls down here, so I don't even gotta lose weight now that I live in Atlanta. So I don't know how true that is, but Devontae, oh, he like, yeah, I like them big. I seen you turn your camera back on real quick. Okay, Devontae.
Don't nobody want no skinny little skirt. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, yeah, but seriously. So yeah, it's just like resistance is protection though, really. So in a way, it does protect you from things, right? It's not just about being lazy, it's about protecting you because now you want to do something new that your mind's not familiar with, right? Stephanie, did you want to say something? Sorry. Oh, yes, no.
Yes. Hi,
Oh,
everybody. Sorry. I apologize for being delayed. I was out there saving the world.
you was
Anyway,
resisting.
I was resisting, but I was in a meeting. But what based on what you were sharing, it reminds me I've definitely been there. Pretty sure everybody on the call has. Um, I call myself the Queen of Mondays because as long as there's a Monday, like tomorrow, and even though tomorrow's not promised to any of us, I'm going to do it on Monday. So I would do what you done. Like I'm going to order all the right food, been to the Cap Market, love it. Got all my spices, herbs, vegetables, fruits, this and that. In this case, my excuse probably would have been, well, there's a recall on lettuce and there's a recall on this. And, all these recalls on vegetables after I don't went and spent $100 at the Cap Market. But at the same time, being the queen of Mondays means like every single time there's a Monday, I can start over. Well, why couldn't I start on Tuesday? Why couldn't I start today? And one thing I always ask myself after I've failed, if you will, to stay committed to something that I said I was going to do is, what is the difference between a person who does what they say they're going to do and a person who doesn't? A person who's strung out on drugs and they go into recovery, or they go to rehab, or they go wherever they go, and then they don't choose to drink or use drugs. What's the difference between them and a person who does relapse, you know? And a lot of times it's your own personal will, it's your choice. So it's my decision to be the queen of Mondays, as opposed to saying, no, I'm gonna conquer this, you know. And when you talked about weight and equipment, oh my gosh, like my whole apartment, I bought the mats, the gym mat. I have a whole workout system. I have a walking pad. I've got I've got every single thing. So I'm telling my daughter, we don't need to go anywhere. We're gonna set this up in this house. Like there's no reason to go to the apartment complex gym, to my hotel where I work out at that gym. We gonna do it right here because I don't spend all this money. Either that, I'm gonna sell all this stuff and then I'm gonna pay for a membership that's the same amount. And that's the whole reason why I purchased these things in the beginning. So it's definitely for me the willpower. I need that willpower and strength to persevere and to actually commit. So just to give you guys another quick example, I'm back home from working in Greensboro for 6 months. So my room looks like somebody threw a hand grenade in there and just said, fuck it. That's the way my room looks. It's clothes everywhere for every season, right? So I keep saying, man, I want to clean my room, but I have zero energy coming home from work and trying to get my mind right. So what I decided I was going to do is like, stop saying you don't have zero energy. Now you got to get up and do it. So yesterday I went to bed early, knew I was going to get up. Let's say I went to bed like 9. I got up at midnight. I do a lot of my best work in the middle of the night. So I get up at midnight, start cleaning my whole bathroom, taking everything out of the cabinets, folding all the towels, rolling everything up, redecorating. And I'll go to bed about 3. And I got back up at 6:06 and I finished the rest of the bathroom right at about 7:11. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, okay, I got that done. My daughter did the kitchen the other day. Her area is fine, is now is my room. So I have to bite things off in chunks. You know, I can't look at the big picture and say I'm gonna clean the whole house in one day. It's not gonna happen. I have to be realistic. And that resistance that's there is always there. So as I got to figure out how to overcome the resistance and like I got to be like a boss. I got to conquer this. So my will is to conquer it. Thank you guys for letting me share.
And once
That's
you find out how to do it, can you make sure you share with all of us?
Absolutely. I've been praying. I'm like, Lord, I'm coming upstairs right now, like to get on this call. I'm like, Lord, give me the strength to like clean something. I try to sit and pick. Am I gonna put the TV on the wall? Am I gonna mount that tonight? But I do I'm trying to take off little bites. Am I gonna fold all my summer clothes? I gotta pick one thing. I can't just think, just like what Jaleeta's saying, she done bought all these groceries and everything. Now she gonna meal prep and all. I do too much, and therefore it makes it feel like it's unattainable. So the best thing right now I can say is I'm doing things in chunks. And then I'm also, when I'm resisting, like, dang, I didn't want to get up at 6 o'clock, but I really wasn't sleepy. I was like, get up. And I'm so proud that underneath the bathroom sink is so organized. My daughter woke up. She's like, "Oh my God, mom, you are just the most organized person. Like, what did you do with my make? Oh, my makeup bag is right here." Like, I put everything where I thought she would look,
that's
and it's
good.
there. And at least now it's like now I know where everything is, and I know something. My daughter, and I've told her this all the time. Everything has its place in your home. So if it's at a place, it doesn't belong. Like it has to have a place. So now before I buy something, I'm like, where's this going? What is the purpose? Because otherwise I'm spinning my wheels.
That's a
And
good tip too with
yeah,
that.
if you don't have a place for it, don't buy it. Like my mom just was going to a ball on Sat last night. And she's like, oh, I'm getting ready to go to Macy's and buy a dress. And I'm like, mommy, come over here. I got 4 seriously black tie ball gowns that I've only wore two of them, one to a wedding and one to a birthday party. And the other two I haven't even worn. Come get one of these dresses. Like,
Yeah.
stop buying. And so I'm trying to honestly live smarter in every part of my life. And it's not easy because we're so routine with, the Queen of Mondays as well as the snooze queen, because I'll snooze my
Yeah.
alarm
Yeah.
all the time. But
That's
Devontae, yes, I will share. Let's keep being in prayer about it. We're going to get it right eventually.
Yeah, and who knows, by the end of this Zoom call, you guys might have some tools to help you.
Right? Right?
I saw Shamika, you unmuted briefly. Did you want to add something? I don't want to leave anybody out.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just agreeing with what
Oh, okay.
everything having its place. When you purchase, just overbuy things and there's no place for it, it's like, what are you doing? Just try to, if
Yeah.
there's no place for it, don't get it.
Just
I
get it.
literally just did that this morning. I gotta go take this mirror back. I'm like, I have no room for this mirror, but it was on sale.
That
It was
part.
on
And
sale.
at least you're going to take it back.
I'm
You
taking it back.
yeah, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
sad thing about it is, it's like my mother did the same thing. Oh, I want to go to such and such because what if there's something there that's on sale and I didn't get it? And I was like, well, mommy, somebody else is going to get it because I'm trying to keep her from keeping me in the department stores. I'm going in, and when I go in, like, I'm like, Lord, please don't let me find anything. That's what I'm saying, because I really don't want to find anything. But if I'm going there to get, I just want to get what I came there to get. And I'm trying to get out of there because when you have some, and I don't like to return clothes or anything. So chances are, if I buy it, if you taking that mirror back, Devontae, God bless you, because that mirror would be hung up somewhere in this house or be against the wall like the one I bought for the quote unquote gym. It's gonna be there. And now
And
So,
you know
it's
what?
yeah. It's
Now that you
like,
say that, I'm gonna take it to my storage. I forgot I
oh
got a
my
storage.
God. And sometimes resistance is good. Like in the case of I can't stop going in the store, you can resist going in there if you know you don't need anything. I think in that case, resistance protecting you could be a good thing, right? But resistance, like you're saying, basically, which I was just saying, it keeps you in those same routines, right? The same excuses, the same I'll start on Monday. Not because you're weak, not because you're incapable, but because it's some part of you that's trying to keep you safe, right? Because it's something different, maybe to start working out. That's not a part of your norm. So your brain is like, wait a minute, this don't sound like something we normally do, right? The problem is that safe and stagnant can look identical because your mind likes what's familiar. It likes, okay, we've done this before. We know how this works. We survived this, right? It doesn't necessarily ask whether these familiar routines are creating what you want though, right? Because just because I want to go on the app and order the spicy chicken sandwich and not move the weights around, that's not creating the thing that I said I wanted, right? It's just familiar. It's a familiar routine, right? So now trying to do something different, even when it's something good, that protective part of you might respond like, wait, what are you doing? Whoa, what's going on? Right? That's not normally what we do. We don't know how this thing is gonna turn out. Like, what if we fail? What if it's bad? Like, it's like you can want something and still resist it at the same time. Like me, I want the healthier body, but changing that routine feels a little uncomfortable. You got to be ready for something like that. You want the relationship, but maybe being emotionally vulnerable feels risky. You want the business to grow, but being more visible opens you up to judgment. You want to set the boundary, but maybe you're afraid of how the other person's going to respond. Maybe you want to release the old version of yourself, but you like, at least I know how to be that person. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with the old version, even if that's not your best version. So resistance is not necessarily your enemy, because it's often a protective response, right? But it's outlived its usefulness. It's a protective response that has outlived its usefulness. Maybe it's trying to save you from embarrassment or disappointment or rejection or responsibility or visibility, right? Or maybe it's the possibility of discovering that you're actually capable of more than what you've allowed yourself to become. Because protection and progress don't always move in the same direction, right? Oh, hey, what's up? Thank you, Paige, for joining in. We've been talking about my fitness journey a bit. Paige has just joined the call, and last week at the end of the call,
Hey, Dee.
hey, some of y'all might have caught where she was talking about me smoking cigarettes. Well, we were talking, not that she was just talking about it, and she was like, "You still smoking cigarettes?" And I'm like, "Mind your business." But I wanted to tell you, Paige, that I have not had a cigarette since Tuesday, and so. That
Oh, yay! Major
that's it.
accomplishment.
That's a big, big deal. And this is also, usually I'm drinking soda. This is actually Crystal Light water. So it's
Congrats
baby
on the no
steps.
cigarettes.
Thank
Congrats.
Yeah,
you.
Even for
and
that's a
also
great.
Paige.
Even if you don't finish the week out, that is 4 more days you gave yourself. That's
Yes,
awesome.
I'm gonna
Or
finish it out.
wait, that's
Thank
more than 4, but you know what I'm saying.
thank
Sorry,
you
y'all.
guys. I love the thank you. I
It's,
waited especially
so
for Paige to share. Go ahead, Devontae, what are you gonna say?
now I was gonna say I haven't bought a pack in 2 days, but I did have 2 cigarettes last night, so I still thought that was pretty good.
That's
And I did have the Black and Mild, so I'm not gonna sit here and lie about all that, but I'm still it's a progress.
Every step is closer. Every step is closer. I'm proud of
yes.
both of y'all.
Thank you
I'm
so
not
much.
buying anymore. You know how much money we spent? We could have been on a
Exactly.
whole trip.
That's investments. Exactly. You could have came to Cancun with me. I
I
still ain't
still
got
make
my plane ticket while I'm up
oh
here like I'm going to Cancun. Hey, whatever. I hope I got the insurance. Let me see. Nah, it's gonna um so just like I said, protection and progress don't always move in the same direction, right? Because you can't create something unfamiliar while you keep making choices that feel familiar. You can't grow and remain exactly the same at the same time. So understanding why you resist something doesn't automatically eliminate the resistance, right? But the insight does help. And self-awareness matters. You can understand your resistance perfectly, like me, but you still sit in the bathtub and watch somebody else exercise on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, the understanding has to become action. Not because the fear disappeared, not because you suddenly felt motivated, but because you decided the thing you're creating matters more than remaining comfortable. Think about those things that you named earlier, right? Then ask yourself, what does my resistance believe is protecting me from? What does my resistance believe is protecting me from? Is it failure, judgment, rejection, responsibility, being seen? Maybe it's becoming someone you never been before. Like, does anybody want to share like what do you think that resistance is protecting you from? You know what I mean? Like, what's the excuse and what's the protection? For me, it's just the changing of my routine and like no more spicy chicken sandwiches. And, I have like a Pepsi addiction. So now if I'm just drinking water and eating all the correct, proper foods and working on my health and fitness, it's a trade-off. I mean, it's a good trade-off, but still, I think the resistance is protecting me from being responsible and for honoring myself. It's not that you want to be protected from being responsible, but I think that's what I think is protecting me from is having to do something. Um, so yeah. Um, so if you think about it as a protection, like if you did think of some of the reasons, what is staying protected costing you? Right? Because resistance isn't free. Every time you resist the thing that you know you want or need to do, you're not just delaying the thing, you're actually paying for it with something. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a relationship that never gets repaired because the conversation never happens. You don't pick up the phone. You don't send a text. Maybe it's the dream that just remains an idea because you keep preparing, but you never get started. And the tricky part is resistance doesn't always feel like something big and dramatic, like just a hell no. It usually feels like a small, quiet yes to something easier, like yes to ordering Chick-fil-A over, you know, making the kale and the sweet potatoes and doing meal prep. It's saying yes to the snooze button, like Stephanie was saying earlier, or yes to scrolling for another hour. Yes to I'll just figure it out later. Yes to staying busy instead of being brave. Yes to doing what's comfortable instead of what you said mattered. Because none of those choices, they don't feel like a big deal in the moment, just making that one decision. But if you repeat those enough times, then guess what? That becomes the story of the month of me still talking on Zoom after Zoom about bus driver arms and the weights that's growing dust. Now, after the month, now it becomes a year that I'm talking about this. Then it's 10 years. Then it's my whole lifetime, right? There's a cost to resistance. I think there's two costs, external and internal. External is the opportunity you missed, the money that you didn't make, the application that you just didn't submit, the boundary you didn't set, the change you keep postponing, right? And then we also have internal costs. And it's the biggest one to me is the erosion of the trust in yourself. Because every time you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, it's not only about the thing that you didn't do, it's also about what you're teaching yourself about your own word and how you value and trust yourself, right? So in my case, it's not just about the food or the workout. It's about what I'm telling myself about myself. It's telling myself that my word to me is the easiest one to break, right? I'll show up for everybody on this call before I show up for myself, right? It's telling me that the promises I make to myself are negotiable. I'm not that important. Like, yeah, I know you said Monday. I know you just keep wasting $100 every 2 weeks going to buy fruits and vegetables and then spending another $150 on DoorDash, right? It's not about what it's about what I believe I'm worth when nobody's watching, right? And it's not to beat myself up because shame is not the answer to resistance for sure, right? Shaming yourself for not taking action just is going to create more resistance. So it's about being honest, not about being cruel. It's about noticing the cost without using the cost as another reason to judge yourself. Right? Because once I recognize what resistance is costing me, now I can make a different decision. So, what has resistance been costing you, right? Not just on the outside, the opportunities, the progress, the time, the money, the connections, experiences, but on the inside, how is it affecting the way you trust yourself? Like Stephanie said, if she's the queen of the Mondays, now you don't even believe the shit yourself. You like, oh, every Saturday I say Monday. That Monday is just the password to my phone. You know what I'm saying? It means nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is it doing to the trust? Anybody want to plug in or share anything about that trust factor of how you keep saying, I'll just do it next time, or it's too hard, or maybe I need to get one more certification or take one more class, or like, what is it really costing you? We know tomorrow's not promised, you know what I mean? And sometimes you resist all this stuff. It's not even as hard as you think it is, right? So let's get a strategy. I see we only got a few minutes left in the call, right? But I wanted to give you what you can do when you have these resistance. I like to call it honest action, okay? And honest action is basically just one simple thing that you can do, right? So first, let me say this. You don't get rid of resistance. You got to move through it, right? So wait until you feel ready. That's not a plan or a strategy, right? Because readiness usually shows up after you begin, not before. Confidence shows up after you take the action. Motivation shows up after you start moving. And usually trust shows up after you keep the promise, including to yourself, right? So sometimes you might be like, oh, when I feel motivated, I'll work out. Or when I'm confident, then that's when I'll apply for the thing. Or once I'm not afraid anymore, then I'll go ahead and talk to that person. Or when I know it works, when the economy is better, I'll start the business. But what if the feeling you're waiting for is on the other side of that action you keep avoiding? Right? Because there's a difference between motion and action. Motion is planning, researching, preparing, making a list, organizing the list, getting a notebook for the list, color coding the list, all of that, right? Motion feels productive because you're doing something, but nothing actually changes until you take action, right? You can research workouts for 3 hours and never move your body. You can spend months learning about content and never post anything. You can write down everything you want to say and you still never have that conversation. Motion helps you prepare, but action creates evidence, right? So taking action while you still feel resistance can be uncomfortable. You can still feel those fears and uncertainties, and you might still want to do it on Monday, but you just need to take one step, right? So honest action is like the one action that will move you forward. Like for me, one of the things now I'm drinking water instead of soda, right? I haven't had a cigarette in almost a week. Those are honest actions, right? Might consider them big actions, but something small. So it's a choice, an action that you take that reflects what you say you actually want, right? It doesn't mean you have to do everything today. It doesn't mean it has to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to feel confident. It's just your behavior telling the same truth as your intention, right? So it's like drinking the water, not smoking cigarettes. I'm not running a marathon. I'm not changing my diet overnight completely. It's just one choice that reflects what I said I wanted, right? If I said I wanted to grow my business, maybe I might need to send an email. I've been avoiding sending. Nobody said I had to rebuild my whole website or launch a whole campaign. Send one email, right? If I said I wanted to repair a relationship, that might just be making a phone call, might be the one honest action. I don't have to know how the entire conversation is going to go. I don't need to rehearse everything I'm going to say. Just open the door to communication, right? Maybe you working on something, you want somebody to help you with it, you need support. So an honest action might be you just asking for help instead of struggling in silence, you know? Honest action is not about doing the biggest thing. It's about doing the truest thing. It's about aligning your behavior with your intention, one choice at a time. And every honest action gives you something that resistance has been taken away. It's been taken away, the evidence, the proof that you can trust yourself, right? You can prove that discomfort doesn't have to stop you. Fear doesn't have to make the decision for you, right? You can prove that resistance can still be there without being in control. Resistance can be in the passenger seat, but you still driving. You making the decisions, right? You don't have to defeat the resistance. Just stop letting it make your decisions. Take one honest action, you know? It's just like making a decision to do the right thing, to do one thing. So real quick, I want to share too how the resistance as far as tapping into, because we're tapping into our G, gratitude, emotion, and elevation. So real quick, the gratitude can help you acknowledge what's true without shaming yourself, right? So instead of I can't believe I'm doing this again, I'm lazy, I'm not following through, you can be grateful that you recognize the resistance. You can say, I'm grateful I have another opportunity to choose differently. I'm grateful for the tools, the support, the awareness. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending you're happy about the resistance, but it means that you're appreciating that you can see it. You recognize the resistance is there, right? So ask yourself, what can I appreciate about what this resistance is revealing to me? So the emotion part of it, resistance is always or often covering an emotion that you haven't named yet. Maybe fear, overwhelmment, embarrassment, pressure, resentment, disappointment. Sometimes we keep focus on what we're not doing without asking how we feel about doing it. So now the emotion part, I have you ask, what am I feeling when I think about taking this action? When I think about doing the meal prep, doing the exercise, you know what I mean? What am I thinking now that's creating that feeling? Okay. Maybe you think you have to do it perfectly, or if you start now, everything's going to change. If you fail, then what's going to happen? If you succeed, now people expect more from you. But once you can recognize the thought underneath the emotion, now you can understand the resistance a little bit better. It's not going away, it's just you working with it within the framework of the gratitude emotion. And the elevation, you want to ask what choice honors the person that I'm becoming, right? Not the biggest choice, the perfect choice, the honest choice. If a full workout feels overwhelming, then maybe move your arms and legs, sit in a chair, do a 10-minute, 5-minute workout. If you're doing a project, elevation might be just opening the document, writing one paragraph, jotting down some ideas. Maybe decide when you're going to have that scary conversation instead of making a call right away. So for gratitude, you ask, what can I appreciate about what the resistance is revealing? Emotion, what am I feeling and what am I thinking that's creating that emotion? And the elevation is, what honest action honors this person that I'm becoming, you know? So those are 3 questions that you can ask yourself, and I'll put them in the chat when you are, having some resistance about things that you really know you need to do. So I know I just rambled on and we're winding down, but does anyone have anything they want to add, share? Let me put these questions in here for y'all.
So I have 2 things I want to add.
Okay.
And I guess y'all all could, I'll use Jalita, but y'all could find some way to apply what I'm saying to Jalita to apply to yourself. So Jalita, you talked about like changing your eating and getting rid of the Chick-fil-A and spicy chicken sandwich. So what if you incorporated the foods you didn't eat and still eat your spicy chicken? That just means you didn't go cold turkey, but that's still achieving your goal for yourself because you added that. And one thing about once you add the good for so long, sometimes the bad just wings out.
Absolutely.
Your body change, your thoughts change, your energy changes, and it just kind of pushes it out sometimes without you even knowing. And then the other thing you was just this was a few minutes ago you was talking and you ended up with the destiny. Like if doing this and it becomes your destiny, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that took me back to that post that I put up. It all starts with your thoughts. So basically, if you give yourself something to do, don't come up with a reason. Don't let your brain trick you to not doing it. Even if you don't do the whole 1 through 10, do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I challenge all of y'all. Tomorrow I'm doing me a 10-minute workout for the next 7 days till we talk. I
Thank
promise
you.
myself
Text
I'm
me
doing
the
that.
video so I can
And
see you, and it better be
no,
10
I'm
minutes.
challenging you. There will be no
Oh,
video, ma'am.
okay.
My word will be what my video. If I
Okay.
told you I did it, you know how you said you haven't smoked a cigarette since Tuesday and we believe you, we clapped, we said, yay, yeah. If I say I worked out Monday through Sunday, that means that's what happened.
I know that's right,
Let's
Ivory.
do it.
And thank you too, because you really just brought back the honest action. So both of those examples I feel like you gave speak back to when I was saying honest action. Like even if you don't have to change your whole diet and I could just still eat a spicy chicken fillet on Fridays and Tuesdays, but I'm eating the kale and sweet potatoes the other days. That's one honest action. Or even like you said, you don't have to do 1 through 10, just do number one, maybe 1.5. But that I think is a real key with getting through the resistance is just taking one honest action. You don't have to do everything all at once. Thank you. I agree.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to have some input?
Yes, I would like to say two things that I took away from this conversation this evening. One of them is, I believe, is that it's about getting mad. MAD. There's a saying we have here in my business is to make a decision, right? And it all starts with self. We have to get mad and we have to make a decision and just fail a way forward. Know that, there's no failure and success go hand in hand. And we have to learn to embrace that. And that's something that I'm working on understanding that my fear of failure, knowing that I'm going to have to fail. There's no success without failure. And the next thing that I have is about the accountability partner. I have tried to so many ways to find an accountability partner, and I have not been successful because if I'm the sharpest knife in the drawer, it's not going to work, right?
You stabbing
So
everybody, Miss Vanessa.
that's not gonna work. So I think that having an accountability partner in anything that we do um, will help tremendously on our goals, on the things that we're trying to accomplish for self.
Absolutely.
Having that that's consistent, that accountability partner that exhibit integrity, that does the thing when no one is watching. Like the young lady said, she doesn't need a video, right? She's challenging and she's gonna do her workout. And I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna get on it, but for those who will, it's an integrity thing. So those are the things that my takeaway for this evening. I think we have to make a decision as to what that resistance is for us. Two, we need to have that accountability partner, and we have to definitely fail forward. Back to you.
I love it. Love it. That's good. I appreciate this input. Did anyone else before we close out? I know we went a couple minutes over, but I love this. I appreciate it. Devontae, you look like you want to say something, but you don't. You look very serious, but I don't know if you got a little indigestion or something. You are right. You look a little. All
Leave
right,
me
so
alone.
I
Good.
know.
I'm good.
I usually leave us with an experiment, and basically the experiment this week is going to be for the things that where you find that resistance shows up. Just just find one honest action that you could take. It doesn't have to be major. You know, we're not attempting to change our lives overnight. You're just making that one choice, one move, one honest action. Not after the resistance disappears, not when everything feels perfect. Do it now and let the resistance sit in the passenger seat and just watch. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, especially the first timers, the people who come back every week. I love y'all so much. And thank you for being honest with yourself, you know. Thank you for showing up. And even if the resistance is still there, it didn't talk you out of being here with us. So we appreciate it. So stay happy, grateful, be mindful, and be you. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have a great
you.
night. Thank y'all.